Hello, I'm Bill Faulkner, and on behalf of the SMRT, I'd like to welcome you to the second video in our MR Safety Week Checkup video series. This year, for MR Safety Week, we are encouraging everyone to look closely at their MR safety practices, and these videos are meant to give you some suggestions for areas to assess. In this video, we're going to focus on MR safety education. The ACR guidance document on MR safe practices classifies persons as either non-MR personnel or MR personnel. MR personnel are subdivided into two categories, Level 1 and Level 2. Level 1 MR personnel are those who have passed minimal safety educational efforts in order to ensure their own safety as they work within Zone 3. A good example of Level 1 personnel would be clerical personnel or those functioning in a role to assist the technologist or radiographer. Level 2 MRI personnel are those who have been more extensively trained and educated in broader aspects of MR safety issues, and this would include issues related to the potential for thermal loading or burns, peripheral nerve stimulation, acoustic noise, and so on. Typically, this includes MR technologists or radiographers, as well as MR radiologists and, of course, the MR medical director. So how about the annual safety education for your staff? Is it in place? And if so, is it current? And most importantly, is it clinically relevant for your practice? Also, is it mandatory for all MRI staff upon being hired and then annually thereafter? Do you have a current log or record to show when the education is due for each staff member? And does that log note if they are current with their MR safety education? So if you need help here, where can you begin? What resources do you have for MR safety education? Well, if you're an SMRT member, you have access to top quality current MR safety information and education. And while some material is available to non-members, SMRT members have access to much more. You can find the resources on the ISMRM-ISMRT safety page. You can reach this web page by going to www.smrt.org and selecting Safety Resources. Or you can reach it directly at the address shown here, www.ismrm.org/mr-safety-links. Programs offered to members include a 6-part safety video series approved for CE credits. And we've heard from many SMRT members that they use this video series for their annual Level 2 MR education. There's also a 2-part video series on Level 1 and Level 2 requirements, as well as additional video-based and text-based SMRT home studies. Again, with the exception of the 2-part video series, these are members-only benefits. It's important to remember that free access into the MRI environment, that is Zones 3 and Zones 4, are to be strictly restricted to MR personnel only. And that would be those who have successfully completed their annual Level 1 or Level 2 training. In many facilities, this access is directly tied to having completed that annual training. And that brings us to the end of our second video in our MR Safety Week Checkup series. In the next checkup video, we're going to look at safety in the MRI environment itself and talk more about the safety zones. So until next time, this is Bill Faulkner. Thanks for watching and take care.